Hey, welcome to RCAM. I'm your host, Ryan, and thank you for tuning in today. So, today we're going to be talking about a Chinese fat influencer who tragically died during her live stream from eating too much. We'll also talk about a 6-year-old kid, man, 6 years old, and they are morbidly obese. And I don't fault the kid, I don't blame the kid. And we will cover a little bit about Elon Musk commenting on how he lost his son Xavier to transgenderism. We will cover the story I meant to cover yesterday about uh, a, a guy that worked at, I think, Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, one of them, who was caught with child porn. Yeah, so that's pretty awful. And maybe if we have time, we'll do some reaction videos. And I also want to give an update on this Chris Tyson story because I do want to keep you guys informed. If you like this content, please like, share, subscribe, do all of those things. Click that notification bell so that you can get informed every time that I go live. And if you are sleeping on Rumble, it is time to download the Rumble app right now. So make sure you download it. And once it's downloaded, search for my channel, RCAM, and follow the channel directly from the app. This will make sure that you get notified every time we go live. Click the link in the description or pin to the live chat to download the Rumble app on your phone. It's free. And if you prefer to watch us on the big screen, it's always available on Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, Roku, Samsung. All you need to do is search for Rumble. So yeah, support them. They do a lot for free speech. I'm actually making now a tiny, tiny little bit of money from Rumble. So that's pretty cool. I'm digging that. So that's kind of dope. And they're just changing the game, man. I really like what they're doing. I definitely appreciate them, and they are my to-go platform. All right. So before we get into the story, just a recap. All right. So I frequently have talked about the plague of fat influencers sweeping our country, and it's not just exclusive to our country, but this rot has spread all the way to China. So now instead of us getting COVID from them, we're giving them spreading fat influence everywhere. So way to go, America. But it is a real problem, and it's not something that I take lightly. It's not something that I even think should really be joked about because it is actually serious. Now, I have made jokes about it, but it is serious. And I do sincerely feel sorry for these people to a degree because this is self-induced. This is something that they are bringing upon themselves. This is something that they are choosing to do, and it has real consequences, as we will learn with this next story. So let's talk about it. Let's get into this. All right. So this is from Dexerto, a Chinese streamer known for mukbang content, which I guess is binge eating food. Pan Zhaoting died during a recent broadcast due to overeating. And this is horrific, because obviously she's doing this for her stream. She is doing this because she has built an audience around binge eating food. And tragically, she dies in the middle of doing this. So more on this story from the Times of India. 24-year-old Chinese influencer Pan Zhaoting dies during a live stream mukbang session. So tragedy struck the Chinese social media scene as 24-year-old influencer Pan Zhaoting died during a live stream mukbang, a popular trend originating from South Korea. So I guess she didn't get this from China or the US. Involves hosts consuming large quantities of food in front of a live audience. Pan, who had gained a substantial following, succumbed to the extreme demands of this trend. All right, so any trend that is encouraging wildly unhealthy behavior is something that you should be cautious of. There is no scenario where binge eating food is beneficial or a good idea. Initially working as a waitress, Pan started live streaming as a side hustle to supplement her income. Her popularity soared, prompting her to leave her job to focus on streaming full time. This career shift brought her significant income and numerous gifts from her fans. Despite her family's concerns about the impact of her profession on her health, Pan continued to push herself to extreme limits. This is another thing. You know, like, people are far too concerned with what random strangers have to say on the internet that they discount what their own family has to say. So if your family, just, good rule of thumb, if your family is warning you that you're engaging in risky behavior, maybe listen to them. Maybe they care about you far more than the rando commenting in your live streams. Just a thought. Maybe they actually are concerned with your well-being. And that's something that to help me stay sane, I actually tend to not listen to the people that I'm talking to online or engaging with online. Oh, we got a comment. Hey, what's up, mate? How are you doing? How's your streaming performance going so far? I guess good. I hope good, man. I'm doing good, though. Thank you for asking. But yeah, so I tend to not listen to the opinions of strangers. They, I typically actually laugh at them. I laugh them off and ignore them. And, I do my own thing. Now, if it's my family saying, hey, Ryan, I'm concerned about this or I'm concerned about that, then that holds significantly more weight. Then I tend to start listening. Now, fortunately, I haven't had any of my family members really call me out or anything because I don't do stupid stuff during my streams. I'm not engaging in risky behavior. So I don't have that problem. But this person very clearly was, and she ignored the advice of her family and continued to push herself. So it goes on to read, she rented a separate studio for her streaming sessions to ensure a more professional setup. However, her dedication came at a high cost. She often consumed up to 10 kg of food in a single session and spent up to 10 hours a day eating. These extreme eating habits led to multiple hospitalizations, including one due to gastric bleeding. Okay. If you are eating so much that it results in hospitalization, it's time to stop. It's time to cut that out. It's time to scale back because what you are doing is clearly dangerous. Gastric bleeding? You're eating so much food that it's causing gastric bleeding? No, not a good idea. And any of the I wish I could see the chats on these streams because I bet you there are hyenas in the chat that are clapping for her, cheering her on, encouraging her, liking, hearting, starring, sending her money, doing all these crazy things, and encouraging this absolute insanity. It's madness. Lately I've been eating like a whole container of yogurt every day to get enough protein. That's tough. All right. I'm not binging. I'm not doing a challenge. I'm just trying to, eat more protein so that I can bulk up and kind of lean out. But that's hard. I cannot imagine binge eating food all day long. One container of yogurt and I'm pretty much good for the whole day. I don't need to eat anymore. And this woman is eating up to 10 kg of food in a single session. That's crazy town. That is wild. Let's keep reading. At the time of her death, Pan weighed 300 kg. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I cannot math. So what is this in like? what is 300 kg in pounds? Is that pounds? Oh my God. All right. I'm look, I'm not even gonna front, guys. All right. I did not do good in math. I'm not good with conversions. I can't do this off the top of my head. So, all right, holy smokes. All right, so she was 661 pounds. Wow. Wow. That is insane. And this means she was eating 22 pounds of food every single day. 22 pounds. All right, so Pan weighed up to 600 pounds. Although the official cause of death was not disclosed, reports indicate that her stomach was filled with undigested food. You think? You think maybe if you eat 22 pounds of food in a single day, that it doesn't really have anywhere to go? That maybe you'll have some blockage? That maybe you'll have some problems? Maybe the hospitalizations should have clued her in as to what was going to happen. And the lower part was deformed. An autopsy confirmed severe damage caused by her excessive eating. According to Creators.net, her parents were concerned about her dangerous eating habits, urging her to stop. What's the point of making money? Do you know how much harm this does to your body? They asked. Pan, however, reassured them, claiming she could bear the risk. And yeah, it wasn't worth the money because this cost her life. She paid for this with her life. And everything that was coming from streaming, all this success, gone now. And now she's going to be remembered as the morbidly obese woman that died during her live streaming. And just think about the parents, how traumatizing it must be for them. The incident has sparked a wave of health concerns on social media. Many are questioning the need for such extreme challenges and the pressure influencers face to entertain their audience. Pan's tragic death serves as a stark reminder for the potential dangers of mukbang and the importance of prioritizing health over social media fame. Yeah, it's not worth it. It's absolutely not worth it to eat yourself to death, literally, which is what happened here. And now she's gone, can't bring her back. Now her parents are grieving her loss, and these fools that were encouraging the behavior get off unscathed. And they are real. Like, I have no, I'm not absolving her of her part in this. She absolutely is a grown woman. She should take responsibility for what she has done. But the people that encourage this, man, it's just why would you encourage somebody to behave this way? And it makes me think that a lot of these people are just flat out evil. Like, I don't see what one. How is that entertaining? It's disgusting, first of all, to see somebody consume that much food. Hardly entertainment. Two, obviously, it's causing problems. Somebody that's 600 pounds clearly is not healthy. So encouraging that behavior is just wrong. It just is simply wrong. And sadly, she's not the first fat influencer that I've commented on that lost their life. Recently I talked about another fat influencer that died suddenly or unexpectedly, but it really wasn't unexpectedly. And this is a trend that has happened over and over again with these fat influencers. And things do need to change. There should be health concerns. This should be illegal. And I think if I read somewhere, there are some there are some countries. I don't know if it's China. I can't remember off the. Obviously not, because they didn't do anything about this. But there are countries that do actually outlaw or make it illegal, or there's like a fat tax. I think that's actually really good. I think that's a great idea. Have a fat tax. Tax people if they are a certain weight. Pending they don't have medical conditions, but everybody says I have a medical condition. I can't help it. I have a medical condition, says my doctor. Shut up. You don't have a medical condition. You're lazy. You don't have a medical condition. You eat too much donuts. You don't have a medical condition. You just don't exercise or do anything. You sit on your butt all day and binge eat food. You don't have a medical condition. It's an excuse that most people make to continue on with their bad behavior. So yeah, that was pretty disturbing. Another thing, kind of in the same vein, is this clip that we saw about fat Disney adults vent about walking in Disney. So I only played a bit of this clip, so I'm kind of going in blind. Just heads up. All right, let's see.
You've been dying to get the Disney rash? No, probably not, but it does happen. Hey everyone, we're plus size park hoppers and we range in sizes from 2X to 5X. Make sure you like this video and follow us.
So the fat to really fat.
From our plus size Disney tips and tricks. If you don't know what the Disney rash is, consider yourself lucky. It's also known as exercise-induced vasculitis. It can happen when you're exposed to heat and if you're exercising for a long period of time, which are both super common in Disney World because you can walk between 5 and 10 miles a day. The rash typically appears on exposed parts of your lower legs. It can cause an itching and burning sensation and just be downright uncomfortable. First aid recommended using aloe vera and cortisone to ease the symptoms. We've also seen some people put
I exercise every day. I used to run, like miles at a time, 4 or 5 miles, no problem. Ran a couple half marathons. I've never once gotten a rash on my legs. Never happened. So this is not something that happens to healthy people. This is something that happens seemingly to exclusively fat people.
Sunblock on their lower legs to try to prevent it. That's something we're going to try on our next trip. Cooling the area with an ice pack or a cold shower can also provide relief. Lowering your body temperature and elevating your legs are also known to help. We don't all experience Disney rash, but those of us who do come prepared with aloe vera and cortisone in their park bags. It mostly happens in the summer, but can happen on hotter days all year round. We hope that these tips help if you ever find yourself personally victimized by the Disney rash.
Victimized. They are victimized. Even though they choose to be fat, they choose to go to Disney, they choose to walk around, yet they're victims of it. Incredibly stupid. And here's a tip, by the way. Here's my tip. All right, I got a professional tip. All right, radical idea. I know this is gonna blow your mind. All right, lose weight. Crazy, right? What? Lose weight. Stop eating as much. Count your calories. Have a calorie deficit. It works. Trust me, it works. So yeah, do that. Instead of giving people tips on how to get these avoid getting these fat rashes. Just wild. And also, someone had mentioned this, and I do want to talk about it because it's kind of relevant. What's the deal with like grown-ups going to Disney without kids? It just seems a little weird to me. Just why? I don't. This is a place for children mainly. I'm not saying like, I don't know. It just seems a little weird. That's all. Anyway. All right, next story. This one is actually legitimately heartbreaking because I don't blame this kid at all. Let's pull this up. All right, and this was shared by Tom Hennessy. So this is a 6-year-old kid. Obviously, she looks morbidly obese. She is morbidly obese. This is child abuse. Straight up child abuse. And you know what's like heartbreaking about this? She's not that much older than my daughter. My daughter's 5. This kid is 6. 6 years old, and she can barely walk up the steps. 6 years old, and she seems like she must be 300 plus pounds. And something else that bothers me is that not only is this wildly unhealthy and that her life is at risk, she's being robbed of her childhood. Can't even play in a playground. She's so overweight.
Yeah. Yay!
You know, another thing I just thought of while watching this? Why would the parent post this online? Because obviously there's going to be people that are not nearly as, charitable as I'm being with them. And this is humiliating to your kid. Yeah. So let's read some of these comments real quick. So there are no fat people with medical conditions in famines and concentration camps for a reason. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's no. One of my buddies says there's no starving kids in, there's no overweight kids in Africa. And he's right. Because obviously, if you don't have access to food, you don't have access to calories, you're going to lose weight. This is a person making an excuse, hyperthyroidism. I don't think it's that. I think probably a bad diet. This person said, even the person filming and posting it to social media. Yeah, why? That's my question. Why post this? Why humiliate your child like this? Because eventually, they're not at the age yet where kids are going to be bullying her. Maybe some are. But there's certainly going to be a point in time where she's going to be humiliated and bullied because of this. Her life is already ruined. I do think she can come back from it, but it involves having parents actually give a damn about her. And very clearly, her parents don't. This is truly heartbreaking. What do the body positivity clowns have to say about this sort of stuff? Yeah. Good question. Do they see this child and, clap for her and cheer for her and say how brave she is? Should she be celebrated? Should a child this morbidly obese be celebrated? No. No, absolutely not. This child is going to be in an early grave because nobody around her is telling her no. Nobody around her is forcing her to exercise, forcing her to play, forcing her to, at least in this situation they were. But she needs it consistently. And it looks like, the parents that posted this on social media are making a show of it. Or whoever posted it on social media. And it's just really disturbing. And it just, for me, just is more evidence that this fat influencer trend needs to die. It needs to die, and it's not just and there needs to be a top-down approach to it too. There needs to be laws in place that treat this as child abuse, and for the fat influencers in general, the fat tax I think is great. I think making life a little bit more difficult for them, great. We should not be restructuring society to accommodate these people, because it's going to end up putting them in an early grave. May sound cruel, may sound callous, may sound mean. I don't care. It's the truth. And pastors need to start preaching against gluttony, because that's a real problem when 40% of America is morbidly obese. So yeah, that bothered me. Now this next video is food related, and it's just one of those things that was so putrid and disgusting that because I had to see it, you also have to see it. So we're gonna play this. So apparently, this is the most dangerous cheese in the world. All right, so confession, I really struggle with the insect you're going to like. It makes me nauseous. So I'm gonna play this for you. And
this is the most dangerous cheese in the world. It's Casu Marzu cheese from Sardinia, Italy, because there are thousands of maggots on this cheese. So many people are afraid to try, but it's also the presence of maggots. That's what gives this cheese its...
All right, there's a lot of things that I can handle. All right. Parasites and maggots are one of those things that just repulse. Like, they skeeve me out. Like, if I had a choice to be put in a coffin with 1,000 tarantulas or be covered in maggots, I'm going with the tarantulas, all right? That because they just disgust me on a visceral level. I find them repulsive.
Its unique taste and texture. Casu Marzu cheese has been around for thousands of years. It's made from sheep's milk. The workers first squeeze out the milk, then they pour it into a big pot. The temperature needs to be kept at 75 degrees centigrade. Otherwise, the proteins inside will heat denature, and the cheese can't be made. Then they need to cool it down, so that the goat's milk and the goat's milk mix well. Afterwards, the sediment is removed and drained to form a cylindrical shape. And after 3 weeks of drying, the workers will remove the rind of the cheese, so that the cheese attracts flies to lay their eggs. This is the local cheese fly. They eat and lay eggs at the same time. In about 2 to 3 months, these maggots will hatch and eat the cheese, and then they expel them again. This process will be repeated many times. It's a process that turns the original cheese into a soft Casu Marzu. The flavor is a bit like a delicious ice cream. For this kind of cheese, would you like to try it?
I'm good. I'm good. I have no desire to, and I could, there's a lot of things that I could stomach. This, I'd be throwing up before it even got near my mouth. Absolutely disgusting. And what psychopath thought, oh, who thought of this? Let me, leave my cheese out, let maggots crawl over it, and why don't I try and eat that? What? What's wrong with people? Who would think to eat it? You see something covered in maggots, you don't eat it. You don't stick a spoon in it and treat it like it's ice cream. You throw it out. Craziness. Absolute craziness. This is insane. Oh, God. Truly disgusting. All right. Next story. Or story, not story. All right. Here we go. All right. Ad time. I totally botched that. All right. It's time to say goodbye to Starbucks and say hello to Rumble's 1775 coffee. Unlike other coffee brands, this is a coffee that backs free speech and is unapologetic about it. Visit 1775coffee.com. Use the promo code STUDIO40 to get 40% off any coffee subscription. The coffee comes in medium, dark roast, and it also comes in pea berry, which is similar to Kona coffee. In other words, this stuff is premium. I'm just killing it with those ads, man. I'm nailing it. I gotta see if I could, because Rumble has like these ad campaigns that you can add. I got to see if I'm able to do this without doing their script verbatim, if I'll still get credit for the ad read. I don't know. It's very possible that I won't. I have no idea, but it is it is something that I'm gonna have to look into. All right, so next story. Let's get into it. All right, so this is an update on the Chris Tyson situation. Obviously, news broke over the past couple of days of Chris Tyson engaging in pedophilic behavior, messaging minors, making sexual jokes to them. And there was a video released today by a person that used to work with Chris Tyson. So this is a guy named Nathan, and he interacted with Chris Tyson a lot. So we're going to get his take, and we'll talk about it.
Chris Tyson from Mr. Beast used me, manipulated me, and did very inappropriate things with me while I was about 15 years old. I was actually friends with Lava GS at the time, who is the main victim of Chris that everyone has been talking about these last few days, who claims he isn't a victim, but we all know he is, and we all know he probably got paid off. Not only that, but he's also under an NDA from when he worked for Mr. Beast Gaming for 2 years, and he tried to get me to join Mr. Beast Gaming himself, Lava. He's the one who actually sent me the contract and tried to get me to sign the NDA, at which point I ended our friendship because I knew they were just trying to silence me. Me and him were both initially involved in running Chris's Discord server, helping him set up his Twitch streams and moderating them.
Nate's calling me. Hey, what's up? You're on stream.
You just your address, please, end your stream. As well as other technical back-end things that he needed help with. This Discord server that we were a part of had about 10 people in it, most of whom were minors. I'm not sure how they got in there, other than me and Lava. He won a giveaway, and Chris invited him after that. And Chris invited me after I saw one of his tweets asking for help setting up a Garry's Mod server for the 10 million subscriber Mr. Beast video. This turned into us having lots of private conversations with Chris and playing video games with him for hours on end. Not only did we do a lot of unpaid work for him that he promised he would pay us for, he would also frequently bring up sexual topics that was definitely not appropriate to bring up around 15, 16-year-olds, especially with him being like, I don't know, 20, 21 years old. He would even go as far as linking me several different porn and hentai videos throughout the time of me talking with him. Not only that, but he had an NSFW.
All right. Can we stop pretending like this guy isn't a degenerate scumbag? Who sends minors corn videos and hentai videos? Who does that and has good intentions? It's freaking weird. Weird and perverted, and I would say grooming.
Bot in his Discord server before he made it public. So when it was just a private server, his little circle of minors, and he would use this NSFW bot to spam different corn images, alongside all these 15-year-olds. He would also frequently call me dad and daddy, as well as the others, which I guess we all kind of just took as a joke at the time. You have to think this is someone who we looked up to at the time, we idolized, we thought was the coolest person in the world, so they couldn't really do any wrong in our eyes. But looking back, I was definitely uncomfortable at being called daddy by a 20-year-old, and even just thinking about it now, it's just uncomfortable. This server later went public and became his official Discord server, but before it did, he had me and Lava spend multiple days scrubbing this Discord server clean of all of the N-words he had sent in it, as well as his friends, as well as deleting the NSFW channels and making sure no one could see that he was spamming corn to minors. This story is so much bigger and runs so much deeper than any of you really realize, so if you want to hear more and you want a part 2, let me know.
Yeah, so it does sound like there's more to come, as we were told. That is definitely crossing a line. You don't send pornographic images to minors. Very, very degenerate behavior. It's also very weird that he was having 15-year-olds calling him daddy. Who the hell does that? That's just weird. That's so weird and creepy. Now, the guy that he referenced here, Lava, he did actually respond to him, so I kind of want to give his side. All right, he said, yes, I know a lot of the statements he made in that video. So he's responding to Keemstar here, his channel. He made in that video about me are completely untrue. I was friends with him. We played games together and we worked on Discord. He was later removed from the Discord because of how unstable he was. He would lash out and verbally attack other members of the team. I never sent him any contract, and I have not been under an NDA since 2022. So he was under an NDA. I have not received any payment, nor are any of my socials monetized. I did inform him that he might be offered a job to help work on the Minecraft videos, but it never happened. We did not scrub the Discord clean of racist remarks or porn. We did convert the Discord from a private one to a public in a day after it had been made public. This involves setting up moderation bots and channel permissions. We also had never done unpaid work. At no point was there any agreement that we would be paid for anything that we'd worked on. So they did do unpaid. That is unpaid. Maybe they didn't agree to it, but Nathan seems to think that they were promised some sort of payment. Nathan has since deleted his Discord messages between me and him. He also deleted his original Discord account. Nathan was more involved with Jake the Viking. So you notice what he doesn't say here? He doesn't say that they weren't sent pornographic images. He didn't say that that Chris Tyson didn't call them daddy. You know, he didn't say that. He didn't deny those claims. He was just talking about maybe anything that was personally directly related to him, but he didn't actually deny those claims that were being made by Nathan. So it does seem to lead me to believe they're probably true. You know, and granted, what we've already seen, I have no reason to believe that this guy is making this up. So we will see, and I'll continue to follow this and see if there's anything else. And LQ Ball says, you make great videos. Keep up the hard work. I'm sure one day you'll be discovered. Hey, thank you. I really appreciate that. Sincerely. That is definitely one of the nicer comments I've received. So I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. And yeah, I enjoy making content. So, I'm not in this, like growth would be great, but I just like doing this. This is what I do in my downtime. My kids are one of them's asleep, one's watching TV right now. This is just kind of what I do. Just for fun, and I enjoy it, my primary concern is with the truth. So my aim when I'm making content is to try to be as honest as possible and talk about culturally relevant situations, which I think this was, and I think there's more to come. So we will see. Another thing that I want to talk about, this video is a little long, is involving Elon Musk. And this video that I'm about to show you gives us some insight as to why he actually bought Twitter. Because he has been on a crusade, to say, against transing children. He's been very, resistant to it. I know he helped with the premiere of What is a Woman on X, supported that, shared that. So he's been very supportive of any efforts against the trans movement. And I think this conversation that he had with Jordan Peterson is going to give us some insight as to why that is.
Why are you willing to make this an issue, do you think?
I mean,
well,
it
sort of like
happened
the
to one of my
issue.
It happened to one of my older boys, where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. I was told, oh, Xavier might commit suicide if he.
That was a lie right from the outset. No reliable clinician ever believed that. There was never any evidence for that. And also, if there's a higher suicide rate, the reason is because of the underlying depression and anxiety, and not because of the gender dysphoria. And every goddamn clinician knows that too. And they're too cowardly to come out and say it, right? And
Peterson is right here. This is the emotional manipulation tactics that they get parents to, so that they get parents to go along with their insane recommendations. Because if your kid is really struggling with gender dysphoria and you take them to therapists and physicians that you trust, and you trust them as the experts, and they say, hey, if you don't do this, if you don't support this, your kid is going to take their own life. As a parent, that is like one of the worst things you could ever possibly imagine. So this is the emotional blackmail that's based on a lie that they get that they use to coerce parents into going along with the madness that ultimately ends up destroying their child. And by the way, the suicide rate remains unchanged.
And so and then we end up in exactly, when I saw that lie start to propagate, it just made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It's like, I see. So you're telling parents that unless they agree to this radical transformation, that their children are going to die, and you think that's moral, and you think that's true. That is so pathological that it's almost incomprehensible. I can't imagine anything worse. I can't imagine a therapist doing anything worse than that, or sitting by idly and remaining silent while his colleagues are doing it. It's pathetic.
It's incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
It won't stop till that happens.
Yeah.
It'll just go underground. Puberty blockers are being accessed online by kids all the time through non-medical channels. So yeah, It's not going to stop. Yeah. Okay, so I see. So that's
so I was tricked into doing this, and it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
all right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and there's lots of people in that situation now.
Right.
It's not pretty, and lots of demolished kids.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to be the final straw. All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that.
Absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, you could see Musk is visibly torn up about this. I mean, you can see it, and I could not imagine raising a kid, loving a kid, watching them grow up. I have my daughters, and then one day they come home and they claim to identify as somebody else, and they want to change their sex, and they want you to go along with it, and they change everything about that. I mean, it is essentially like watching your child die. And be baptized into this satanic demonic cult, which is what transgenderism is. And I will not mince words about it. That's why, for those of you watching on YouTube, my days are numbered for YouTube. They just are, because I'm not going to shy away from saying what I actually think about this, which is why I primarily stream to Rumble. Because it needs to be said. And thankfully, I do think the tides are now turning. I think movies like What is a Woman help change a lot of people's minds. And I think there are strides being made. Even the situation with Chris Tyson. He couldn't. I think he really thought he could use his trans identity to shield himself from any criticism for what is being alleged against him, and it didn't work because we're done with it. I mean, your average person recognizes how insane this is, and they may have been all right if they didn't come for the kids. You came for the kids though, and now you have galvanized the richest man, one of the richest men in the world, to fight against you. And he's vowed to destroy the woke mind virus because he sees the damage that he's done because he's personally experienced it. Anne writes, I couldn't even imagine the heartbreak from the parent when this happens. Yeah, I don't even want to imagine it. You know, like if my child came home and they were telling me that they were confused about their gender, and I would probably move to a different country or something. I would take a drastic step to save my kid. Because too, you know, his son is thankfully still alive physically. So there's a chance that he can come back from it. But a lot of these people that transition, they end up taking their own lives, and there's no coming back from that. And these doctors and these physicians, they were complicit in it. They encouraged it, and they stole people's children from them. It's evil, man. You know, and this is why we're very intentional with our kids. We homeschool. They're never going to go to the public school. They're not going to get unfettered access to the internet. You know, we're going to be intentional about teaching them the truth and grounding them in the truth, because that's what children need, not this nonsense. All right. Last story, and then a video that I kind of want to laugh at it. So, all right. So this is a story that I want to talk about yesterday. It was a heavy episode, so I want to kind of scale it back a little bit. So Cartoon Network Mighty Magic Swords creator Kyle Carrozza arrested on child porn charges. All right. I mean, look at this guy. I mean, he's like the textbook definition of somebody that you think would do this. A Cartoon Network series creator has been arrested on child pornography charges. Kyle Carrozza, an animator who created the television series Mighty Magic Swords, which, by the way, maybe don't let your kids watch that show. You know, I imagine maybe that it's not exactly kosher. And worked on multiple Cartoon Network, Disney, PBS Kids, and Nickelodeon shows, was arrested in Burbank, California on June 20th on 2 child pornography possession charges, according to Burbank Police Department arrest records. So Nickelodeon's, so he's affiliated with Nickelodeon, which is not really surprising to me because they had that recent documentary, Quiet on Set, but not looking good for Nick. This does seem to be like the first Cartoon Network issue related to this that I've seen. In a statement provided to USA Today, Tuesday, the Burbank Police Department confirmed Carrozza's arrest and that police served him a search warrant. After a review of Carrozza's case, Los Angeles DA filed 1 count of possession of over 600 images of child porn. Jesus Christ, man. You know, and for these people, man, that are doing this, I would extend grace to their soul, but I would not spare the sword from them. This is a person that needs to see justice for engaging in this kind of perverse, demonic, and evil behavior. Seriously. He needs to be, death penalty. Because this is horrible. Carrozza, 45, had worked as a storyboard artist, as an animator on several cartoons, including Adventure Time, tainted now, just tainted. The 2020 Animaniacs reboot, Doc McStuffins, Fish Hooks, Fanboy, Chum, Danger Rangers, and Teen Titans Go. Not Teen Titans Go. I actually like that. He also worked as the animator on the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. Nickelodeon actors allege the abuse in Quiet on Set doc. These former child stars have spoken up. Mighty Magiswords was a Cartoon Network's first original series, debuting in 2015, and a full-length TV series. So, in California, possession of CP can be either a misdemeanor? How the hell could it be a misdemeanor? No. Felony, straight up felony, and the sentencing should include the death penalty. That anything short of that is not justice. It's a miscarriage of justice. And felony carries a sentence up to 1 year in county jail or 3 years in prison or a $2,500 fine. And that's because California, for some ungodly reason, wants to go soft on pedos. Very weird. And they should be trending in the opposite direction. There should be harsher penalties for pedophiles and people that are looking at this type of imagery. It's disgusting and weird. But I did just want you guys to be aware of that, in case you have kids that might watch these shows, just watch them. If you're still gonna, I wouldn't watch them, but if you're still gonna watch them, do it with maybe a little bit more of a critical eye. All right, and this is going to be the last thing I comment on, and we will wrap it up because I just thought this is hilarious. It's hard for me to believe people like this individual actually exist. Like, when I play the video, you'll see what I'm talking about.
He dropped down!
This is about Joe Biden.
He dropped down! Joe Biden, please! Gen Z, we need to band together. Please.
Oh, I'm crying.
He was for Gen Z's first president.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Imagine being a grown-ass man and crying because the president dropped out. And he's hitting himself in the head. I mean, I do think this is like staged to a degree, but Jesus, pull yourself together, man. It's not that serious. I mean, it is serious, but it's not that serious. He was going to lose anyway. So I don't think that one is satire. There is one that I watched that I got fooled. Then I was informed it was satire. And then, seeing again, I realized, oh yeah, it is satire. I'm not convinced this is. I hope it is. That'd be great. And I would give him I would tip my hat off to him for a very well done satire, but part of me does not think this is. And I just think it's hysterical. So I want to catch up on the comments. So Anne said, I totally agree. This is evil, especially due to the fact that almost all young adults and teens can be confused about who they are and want to be someone else. Yeah, it's really horrific, and this is something too, I don't know your religious perspective, but I'm a Christian, man. And I believe that the enemy, the devil, his whole goal is to confuse God's people about who they are and attack their identity. And he's having a field day with these kids, especially at transgenderism, man, because it just leads them to destroy themselves and alter. It's a total affront to God's creation. and we have these ghouls in the medical industry and psychiatric industry that are just going along with it. It's sad. It says, I love OG Teen Titans, to be honest. I like the original Teen Titans better. And for a long time, I was on the fence about Teen Titans Go. I'm just being real. I thought it looked silly. And then I watch it, and it's actually pretty funny. Actually pretty good. And they have all the original voices. So I enjoyed it. Ian writes, humanity's future is damned if you feel that about Biden dropping off. Yeah, they are damned. They are damned, man. This is an unhinged reaction. Now, this was funny to me. I'm praying that Kamala loses. We'll see. I think conservatives need not underestimate her. Never underestimate how many people will just vote for her because she will be the first female president. Hands down. People are going to vote for her. They're going to go out. They're going to show up. Even if they don't like her, they're going to do it. They were going to vote for, Biden, who is a dementia patient. So, but if she loses, the meltdowns, I'll probably dedicate whole streams just covering the meltdowns people have that Trump is in office again. And it'll be great. All right. I think that's going to do it for me. Thank you, Ian, for chatting with me and hanging out in the chat. For those of you all watching, I appreciate you guys. Please like, subscribe, comment, do all of those things. That helps me grow. Click the notification bell so that you get notified every time I go live. I go live Tuesday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'd love for you guys to continue to join me. And that'll do it for me today, guys. I hope that you have a blessed day, and deuces.